So apparently here in Canada, you can rape an underage girl, share pictures of the assault with your friends on a group chat, and then when you're in court, tell the judge that you don't need a woman's consent to have sex with her, and then you still only get a 3-year sentence. Yeah, that's the state of Canada here in 2024, 2025. And I have a real big problem with it. These soft on crime policies are leading to an increase in violent and sexual crimes. And it's something that we all need to raise awareness about and push the government and, and society in general to just not tolerate this type of garbage anymore, because it is slowly eroding our civilization. And so I have a couple of articles here about this case, and I'm going to use them kind of as a case study for how things are wrong with our judicial system, and just how it seems like a large percentage of the population does not understand that going easy on criminals, especially criminals that show no remorse, just doesn't work. So I have two articles here. One is from the National Post. It's November 13th, 2024. The other is from Burnaby Now, November 5th, 2024. I've actually kind of taken little snippets of the articles. There's a lot of redundancy and repetitiveness in the articles, and some of the stuff is not relevant for this discussion. So what I've done is I've just taken some excerpts from both articles, and I'm going to kind of switch back and forth as we go along. I'm just trying to give like the full scope. There's probably even more details I'm going to miss, and if you're looking for more details on this, if you go into a search engine and just search something like man 56 rape 3-year sentence, something like that, a whole bunch of articles will come up. It was covered, I think, fairly well in print media. I'm not sure about the actual news channels, the video channels, but it's something I didn't really hear about until I came across an article on it. Anyways, so from BurnabyNow.com, it says, a 56-year-old Burnaby man has been sentenced to more than 3 years in prison after he picked up a teenage girl waiting for a bus, drove her to his home, raped her, and then sent her photo to a chat group, bragging she took it like a champ. I guess my commentary here is, this is not a rape where, we hear about rapes where, maybe there two people were in a relationship of some sort, and maybe they were making out, or the man at least thought the woman was interested in him or something like that, and then kind of things went wrong. Not that excuses rape, but that's obviously not the case here. It almost appears that this guy was looking for someone that he could pick up and rape, or at least had that sort of tendency. He saw an opportunity and took it. So I think that would, if I was a judge, that would, factor into my my sentencing, of course, right? This isn't like some sort of an accident, or a misunderstanding type of thing. Now we're going to jump back to the National Post article. It says, the BC Prosecution Service told the National Post he's been sentenced to more than 3 years in prison for the crime, details of which were recently made public in the decision from Provincial Court Judge Ellen Gordon on September 18th. It says, in the early morning hours of August 23rd, 2020, Prakesh Lakraj sexually assaulted the complainant, then a teenage girl, and I'm not going to get into the actual details. Like I said, you can look those articles up. It says he photographed her and via group text message bragged to his friends, reads Gordon's ruling. I think I'm just gonna keep going, and I'll save some more of my comments further on. During his 3-day trial, Lakraj admitted to the assault and told the court that he never needs to seek the consent of a female to have sexual relations with her. So, once again, he's not claiming innocence, or that, she told him that she was, older, or that she, led him on. He basically admitted to the whole thing. Obviously, they got him, the prosecution obviously isn't going to have a hard time proving that he did it when he was sharing images of it with his friends. And then, of course, he admits in court that he doesn't need, or at least he doesn't think he needs consent to have sex with somebody. On the same day her ruling came down, Gordon sentenced Lachrage to 3 years for the sexual assault and 3 months for the child pornography charge, to be served consecutively, according to the BC Prosecution Service. The 56-year-old, who also goes by Paul Lachrage, and has a criminal record that includes a conviction for living off the avails of prostitution in 1995. So a few things here. Obviously, they're saying that it's a child pornography charge as well. So, clearly this was, an underage girl. There's no question of that. And clearly some of the photos that he shared were probably during the act, because otherwise it wouldn't be a child pornography charge. What I would like to know about the people that, who are these people in his group chat, and are they being investigated? Because anybody in that group chat who didn't report this to the police would be a very suspicious person to me. And they may also be involved in things like this. So I would hope that, the police are looking into them as well. And then, it says that the guy has a criminal record that includes, the prostitution charge in 1995. So not only was he involved in prostitution, but the way that this is written, it says a criminal record that includes. So that means there's more than just that prostitution charge on his criminal record. So this is a guy who is a repeat offender of different offenses. And like I said, I think one of the things that is really sticking to me with this case, or that outraged me the most, was that when he admitted to the judge that he doesn't have to get consent. Generally, people that are on trial, they'll either have remorse or they'll pretend to have remorse in order to get a lighter sentence. This guy didn't have either. Like, he didn't have real remorse, and he didn't even pretend to have remorse. So this is the type of guy that I don't think that he is safe out in the public, even after he finishes his sentence. These types of attitudes, he's the type of guy who will be looking for another opportunity to reoffend. And like, I don't think a 3-year sentence is gonna change this guy. I really don't. And so, actually, let's continue. Then I'll kind of do my final wrap up here. This was another thing that really annoyed me about this. It says, so this is back to the Burnaby Now article. Crown prosecutor Mike Meyer had called for a prison term in the range of 4 to 5 years, saying the sentence needed to send a message to Lachrage, the members of his group chat, and anyone else who hears about the case. This is a problem too. The prosecutor is only asking for a 4 or 5 year sentence. I might be wrong, but my understanding is that a sexual assault on a child, the maximum, if it's not an aggravated assault, the maximum should be 14 years. If I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. Why is the prosecution not asking for the maximum? Right? I mean, 4 to 5 years? Even the prosecution seems to be going easy on this guy. And it's just outrageous. Generally criminals try to conceal their crimes. They're not bragging about it. This sort of flippant attitude is a real problem. And I'm sorry, but 4 to 5 years is not nearly enough for this type of crime. I don't even think that the 14-year maximum would be enough in this case. I really don't. The guy showed zero remorse. And like I said, is this judge, this liberal, have empathy for the criminal judge? Is she going to take responsibility when this guy gets out and reoffends? Of course not. Nobody ever gets in trouble. Nobody's ever held accountable. Nobody ever gets fired. We have a real problem with our judicial system, taking these types of things not seriously. This is not a guy who made a mistake one time and actually feels bad about it. So I think that's about all I have to say about this. If it was up to me, I'd probably be 20-year sentence, life sentence. And for those of you who say, well, that's just crazy, that's too much, the idea behind the long sentence, it's not about like retribution or vengeance. And it's not even necessarily about rehabilitation, although a longer sentence would give a person more time to rehabilitate before they like rejoin the general population again. But I know people say like, oh, that they think the reverse. They think a short sentence is somehow going to help someone rehabilitate. But the thing about a longer sentence is that as long as the criminal is in jail, they cannot reoffend and victimize the general population again, right? They cannot, they will not continue to create a series of victims while they're in jail. They also will not be, creating work and expenses for law enforcement while they're in jail. I recently watched the podcast with Jordan Peterson and Pierre Polyev, and I've heard Polyev say this before, but he talked about in where was it? It was, I can't remember if it was Burnaby or I think it was somewhere in British Columbia, but he said that there was 40 people that between the 40 of them, the police had made 6,000 arrests. So it was on average 150 arrests for each of these 40 people per year. And you think about, if you're wondering why the police don't have time to investigate, break and enters, home invasions properly, why they don't have time to deal with, drug crimes and shoplifting and some of these smaller, I wouldn't say small, smaller crimes or, lesser crime. They don't seem to have time to deal with these things because they have these offenders that are constantly out over and over and over again because they're getting out on bail or they're getting community service or they're getting like a month-long sentence for like a home invasion or something like that. And it's just not working. And it's obvious that it's not working. So yeah, in this case, 20 years to life, and if you think that that's like crazy or that's outrage, you really need to start considering the damage that these people are doing to their victims, to the families of their victims, and then just to society in general, where a lot of people in a lot of communities are no longer, they don't feel safe anymore, right? They're scared to walk down the streets, and in a lot of cases for good reason. So anyways, that's my thoughts on this story. I'm sure there'll be more. Take care, guys.